JB, can you do that? Can you guard your position and up?
I'll answer that with a question for you. What did you tell me late in the season? What did you ask me to do?
Wait, when?
End of the season. And you and Dante at the end of the season. What did you guys ask me to do?
I don't know.
Yes,
Don't
you
recall.
do. You told me to win my matchup. You told me to win my matchup.
Tibbs, we got to just Tibbs. One game next year, we just have to put him on like we play Minnesota. We just have to put him on Ant. Like just start him on Ant for like the first
I'm
quarter,
face.
first six
I'm
minutes
face
of the
guarding.
game.
I am face guarding. He's not touching the ball.
If 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 he wins that, whoever we play the first game of the year, put him on the main offensive player, and then if he wins that matchup in the first quarter,
Stay
you're
with it.
solid. Yeah, yeah, we're solid. No, 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 no. Don't stay with it. But just we said we made it look like we set a tone off season. He worked on his defense. He's locking up. But I want him to win his matchup against like an all star. Then like
Josh,
I'm not gonna name any players,
Josh.
but
End of the season. What did you tell me? Win my matchup. There was one time I didn't win my matchup.
this is that
It
Chicago.
was Chicago. I was getting caught.
It's getting baked in Chicago. He was getting baked in Chicago.
Yeah.
Who was it that started
It
cooking
wasn't
you?
even like cooking. Like I wasn't like they put.
No, the young dude, the
Oh
sumo.
yeah. It was
He started
started cooking me
cooking.
for sure. But and then I started guarding Green, and they just put him in the dunker spot. So every time Vucevic was like in a short
Offensive
short
rebounds.
roll, I either had to step up or they dumped it down off it. Yeah, I was just
Uh, hey, Josh, that was a good film session.
Mm.
And then we played him right away, right after that, too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Remember?
it was a good film session for me because we lost and I was out the game. I kicked the dude
Is that when
and
you
I was
kick
out.
someone in
Oh,
the
that's why we
head?
lost.
Yeah,
That was crazy. That was crazy.
With you saying that the shift on defense is sort of moving towards individuals being able to guard as many positions as possible and really like emphasizing versatility. Do you feel like the criteria for the defensive player of the year should change along with that trend?
That's a great question. I think because that debate is should they do it after the season, to incorporate the playoffs as well. You look at what is it? It's like the MVP. Is it for the entire season? Is it the regular season? What is the MVP for? And Minnesota had the best defense though the entire regular season, so you can't debate that. And he had great impact on that. But if you look at it in totality, and unfortunately with all those things, it's like all star, it's all NBA. There's going to be someone deserving that gets left off. So, I think that I, if you ask me, I would prefer they waited to the end of the season for all that stuff. But it is what it is, and there's a lot of deserving players. But I think defense was very difficult because there was no physicality to it, and a lot of it was left to interpretation. And there's judgment that needs to be used by the officials if a player is gaining an advantage by doing something. But there's going to be contact on every play. So technically, you could call, a screen if you can't set a screen without having your feet outside your shoulder. No one's setting a screen with their feet not outside their shoulders. So like that's you could call it. There's contact on every play. So how much is too much? And that's where a referee's judgment comes into play. And so is the player gaining advantage? Not is he not gaining an advantage? And before it used to be you had to, and this is the one thing that I do like is they're taking the cheap foul out of the game, like in terms of you couldn't get 2 free throws for a long time unless you made an aggressive move attacking the basket. And now you got guys fading and flopping and going to the line for 2 free throws. Well,
Yeah.
they're taking that
Yeah,
out,
I just-
which I think is the right
Yeah, I
thing
don't
to
know who
do.
does it. I don't know what you're talking about there. Yeah.
I told you he's getting fouled. He's getting fouled. He's getting
Yeah,
fouled.
he said he's getting fouled 20
He's getting
times, and the dude just—I forget who it was. He just stared at him like, "You got another one? You gonna say another one?"
Um, Tibbs, I have a question for you. I want you, we can either cut this or keep it going depending on how you want to answer it. Your thoughts on the us playing minutes wise, the quote unquote like we're exhausted or overworked.
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
your this is your moment to talk your talk.
yeah. I don't ever worry about that. Like I always tell you guys at the beginning of the season, like you begin with the end in mind. You prepare yourself for what you're going to have to do all season long. So look, there could be a game that you play extended minutes. You know, so if I said to you, Josh, how many minutes did you average over the course of the season? No one would say 33, right? I said,
Mm,
Jalen, how many did you average? No one would say 35. You're not even in the top 10. And then if I said to you, okay, Josh, you played 48 minutes in a game. In the Indiana series, you averaged 38 minutes a game, right, for the series.
mhm.
So there could be a game where you do play 40 plus minutes. Jalen, same thing for you. I think you averaged 36 against Indiana, but people don't look at that, right? And so I don't care what they think. All I care about is, what's given us the best chance to win. So people can say whatever they want. They usually, they don't put any time into, what is actually occurring. If you looked at most teams right now, look at the playoffs, their three top players are playing in the 40s, but no one says that. Like for whatever reason, it stuck with me. It is what it is. I don't really care. You
Yeah,
say whatever the
yeah,
hell you want.
yeah, yeah. Stand on your ground.
You know it. You know it. There ain't no softness here.
Josh and Jalen, to flip the question back on you. Jalen, stop it. To flip the question back on you guys, what's the biggest difference, or what's the biggest difference between playing for Coach Tibbs versus maybe what you heard about playing for Tibbs was like maybe before you got to New York?
For me before, I mean, I heard I'm like I practice and I hate and everyone here knows I hate practice and all that. So I'm just like, man, I'm not trying to do all this practice stuff and all that. And then Chico, one of our trainers, he was like, nah, he's got, he's way better. He's not what you hear. So like the first couple practices, they're like they're more it's more mental than physical. So I'm like going through there. I'm like, oh, all right, this is cool. It's like we're doing walkthrough. Like we're going through plays. We go through their plays, but like it's not like I was thinking it was gonna be 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We're going after it. We're scrimmaging. All like this like stupid tedious stuff. And it was the total opposite. So I'm like, all right, if it's me saying it, the one who every coach I ever had said I'm a terrible practice player. If I say it's not bad, I'm like, all right, it's cool.
Well, that's it. The other thing, people don't realize there's so many different ways to pace your team. Like, so someone who doesn't even know your team they're picking up the box score and saying, oh, this guy played this many minutes. He doesn't know what you've done for the season, but neither does he know what
Not a
you've done in
damn thing.
practice, right? So you might you may not have any contact in practice. You may have, or if you do, you may have a sub in practice. So my thing is I know if I've played Josh 40 minutes in a game, that next day I know how to, like, if you're an experienced head coach, you know how to pace your team. So okay, this guy, I got to watch this guy today, and the challenge is he's got to do enough so he can stay sharp and be ready to play. But maybe he's not doing the whole thing. Maybe he's got the sub early. Maybe there's no contact that day. Maybe it's just we're going to review these things, and this is what we're doing. And so they don't know that, so they don't know how you're pacing your team. And that the thing, like I said, the thing that I pride myself on is how well our team plays the second half of the season. I think it's a byproduct of pacing your team correctly. So, and there's a lot that goes into that.
Basically, you're telling everyone to shut the hell up. Let me do my job.
I
Yeah.
really don't care what they say, Jill, and you know that. Whether it's praise or criticism, it don't matter to me.